coming to the show. I leave it in his capable hands.
How's everybody doing today? Just really convincing. This is Team Bestie, okay? How is everybody doing today? All right. Thank you. My name is DJ Mr. Byrd. I am one half of the Codex Prime podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms, including, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of us. You can find us on any podcasting platforms. I am Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can find us everywhere. So, okay, I think that's enough for the jibber jabber. Is everybody ready? Yeah. All right. First off, you have known her as Angelica in CMML. You know her as Miss Congeniality in ECW, a member of Team Extreme, member of the Luchadors, 4-time WWE Women's Champion, and a WWE Hall of Famer. Please give it up for Lita. Next.
Pros, you guys are pros.
Next, she is a 7-time WWE Women's Champion, former WWE Hardcore Champion, Diva of the Decade, #1 out of 50 of the 50.
Sorry. Carl, I'm sorry.
She's 1A, you're 1B. of the greatest WWE female superstars and a WWE Hall of Famer. Please put your hands together and show your love for Trish Stratus.
This is very difficult. It's very.
Are you sure you want to separate it? We're so much more fun when we're together. Right?
Carl's gonna be a man on the streets, right?
Just lurking around.
Like a,
Hi, everyone.
Okay, cool.
Fred, how are you?
How y'all doing today?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Very good.
And how are you guys?
Great.
Oh, so you're just so-so.
I was just telling you in the back.
That's the answer.
I was just telling you in the back. I was just telling you in the back. These two were on my bedroom wall as a teenager.
Not weird.
And now I'm
No, it doesn't make this weird.
posters. Not every teenager's.
No, that's. Were we on anyone else's wall?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're still on your wall?
But thank you guys
So, we
for
can be
coming.
serious for a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Please.
Oh, okay.
No, serious.
No, we don't do serious. Talk to us.
So, first of all, thank you all for coming. This is amazing. Let's just get right to it. So, who are your biggest in-ring influences?
Well,
Are we getting serious?
sounds.
Oh, you're not
Okay,
fucking
hold on a
with it.
second, Carl.
This is
Like,
serious.
Before we get there,
Yeah.
I feel like there is a very conspicuous accoutrement on stage that I feel like is a little bit of a big deal.
Do you guys? Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? Everyone.
Where did you get those glasses?
Yeah.
Yes,
Tell us.
I bought them from Brett, and Brett autographed them earlier today, and I relived my childhood dream, and he put them on my head.
Because he was also on your poster.
Yes.
No, yeah. Amazing! Congratulations.
That is the best.
Now that we got that out of the way,
Now,
are
anybody
there any
notice
other
anything
elephants in the room
else?
that maybe we want to talk about? No? Good.
You sure?
All right, so our influences, yes.
So are we being serious? Are we, okay, no.
You can be serious, you can have all types of fun with it.
Yeah, no. Influences. Well, I back in the day, when I was a child watching wrestling, there were not too many women that were doing what we did. And so I didn't necessarily watch wrestling and think, oh, I can definitely do this when I grow up, because that's the number one question, right? People ask us all the time, did you know you want to be a wrestler when you grew up? And no, because it really wasn't an option. And of course we saw, like, when the Cyndi Lauper was doing the thing and making it mainstream, we saw Wendy Rector and we're like, oh cool, girls are wrestling, that's cool. But then for me, Macho Man was the one that I watched that I connected with. I loved his perfect balance of athleticism and showmanship. And then but then it didn't really occur to me to become a wrestler until I suddenly was a wrestler. And then at that point, I was just influenced by people around me. The Rock was a big influence. He said to me one day, you could be the female Rock, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so that was kind of cool. And then he kind of became a mentor for me in my career. And then just kind of watching people around me, because I really was thrown into it, and I got to kind of learn on the road as I was going, right?
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm the new girl. Become a professional wrestler. Go, right?
Yeah. So.
Don't worry, just duck down. We don't notice you. Did you bring our snacks? Enjoy.
Priorities. So my big number one, I was influenced by Lucha Libre culture. At the time I decided that I wanted to be a wrestler, WCW was doing a bunch with the cruiserweights and bringing up guys from Mexico, guys that hadn't had experience outside of Mexico were now getting worldwide exposure. And I saw that and I thought it looked like, man, these guys are rock stars and athletes in one gig. I was taking judo and playing in bands, and I was like, oh, I can be more efficient with my time and do it together and be a rock star and athlete. And so Rey Mysterio, if I had to pick just one wrestler, is who influenced me, or who I saw him and was like, yep, that's what I want to do. And maybe one day I will be in the main event of Raw with my best friend Trish Stratus, and then maybe one day, a long time from then, we will be right here at Rhode Island Comic Con with the actual gear
from our Raw main event.
So we love doing these shows together, and I reached out and I was like, hey, what do you think? When we always get asked at some point, either what was your favorite match, or what are some of your favorite matches? Talk about, did you think that the main event match that you had would be brought up now? And so we get asked about it every show, and I was like, let's see if we could find that gear. We should bring it for the fans to be able to see live and in the flesh, because it was a really special moment,
You guys remember that? I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
So there was a main event.
Yeah, and that was quite the day for us, right?
Yes.
Because at that point now, women had been in main event matches with the men, and enhancing the men's match, so to speak, but not two women in the ring. Boom, main event, right? So
No bells, no whistles.
Yeah. The only bell was to start the match, right? I remember getting there. How we felt. It was first we thought maybe there was a joke being played on us.
Well, we walked in together, and everyone was just looking at us a little bit different that
they were like,
that
hi,
day.
we're like, hi, what's
Coming out of the production meeting, and when I know that you guys have all heard the rumors, but yes, the show would in fact change several times before it got to the live version. But so everyone coming out of the production meeting has just heard the most recent version. And they were all just kind of looking at us a little bit different that day, with kind of you're about to find out something pretty cool.
Yeah. And we're like, okay.
And so I remember, I didn't know that I thought it was a joke, but I've got just so used to don't get too excited because things change just like that constantly,
and
right?
just to paint a picture, we walked in, and so there's usually a board that's there, and it lists all the matches that will be on for the evening, and of course the main event is at the top, right? So we see our name there, Trish and Lita.
Yeah, and I just remember, my instinct is hope for the best but prepare for the worst. So I'm always just like, they're probably going to change it. They're going to rewrite the show, and we'll get to have a match, but they're going to find something else for the main event. And it was like it kept getting closer to showtime. I'm like,
but then my reaction, so she's going like this, right? I'm looking, I'm like, first we're like, we're the main event, and we did like this. I'm like, I literally thought they were gonna be like, someone's behind like the curtains going, well, let them read it and let's just see the reaction. Like, ha, I got you. Like, I really thought they were gonna try and rib us, but no, it was the truth.
Yeah, and like as it came closer and closer, I was like, oh my, like I think it wasn't until probably showtime
Yeah.
that I was like,
Like,
oh, this is
happening.
gonna happen. Yeah, because I was like, it's like almost like I couldn't let myself get excited because I was like, I'm gonna be really bummed when they're like, by the way, actually, whoever's segment went over,
Switching this
we're not
things,
gonna
yeah.
have that. Or actually, by the way, your third match tonight, you know.
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was there had to have been a moment, but it wasn't until after the show started that I was like, we're gonna close the show tonight.
Yeah. And then just like gearing up for it, like it was like getting ready, like it was surreal, right? Like, and people just being like, congratulations and like knowing
And
the
the
magnitude.
like the boys all in the like in gorilla position where before you go out through the curtain, walking back, waiting there for us and congratulating us. It was like quite and that's why that match, as many fun, memorable matches either that we've had together or that I've had in my career, when I'm asked for one match, that's it.
Yeah, it
Because
just represents
it's
so many things.
Yeah, because it's, and I'm not, while I did enjoy watching the match when we did not that long ago together.
We playback and we watched it back, which was really cool to relive.
Yeah, because you don't just go sitting around watching your.
They wanted that we did. Have you guys seen the playback episode? Like we literally go and we watch it and we just speak how we're feeling about and it's cool to relive it and you just see the magnitude and then it kind of sinks in. And a lot of things are retrospective, right? You go back and it takes being away from it for 20 years to be like, I literally just got goosebumps because I get goosebumps on my cheeks when I really feel something because it takes you kind of to look back and be like, wow, like what that meant. Not only to us, and in the moment, of course, that we were just like, we're gonna have to kill this because they're giving us this chance, and if we don't show them that we deserve, not that we deserve it, but that we can kill this, that
pull
we can,
it off.
we can pull it off. Can these women pull this off, right? And I mean, dare we say we did? That was the first thing. But then looking back, then you start to realize the magnitude of what it meant.
And you know, like I said, like not even just move per move would I say that's my favorite match. It was just kind of what it meant to the matches after that, the trickle down effect, and what it meant, like the boys being in there to congratulate us after walking through the curtain.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like we went through a lot to prove ourselves, and then that was like a nod, like they're like, you're one of the boys.
Yeah.
We accept it.
Yeah.
We
It
accept
was like we finally made
like,
it into the boys
like,
club.
like reluctantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like reluctantly, and then finally they're like, all right, good job.
Yeah, we always said like, look, we gotta be good enough that they can't say we don't belong here, right? So yeah, it was quite the night for us that we shared. Yeah. So.
Sorry to just take over, but
it's okay.
I couldn't, like, it's cool for me to see our gear
Yeah.
up there, and I needed to speak on that.
Isn't it? Did you guys know when you saw it? You're like, that's the one. That's the one.
You knew you were in the right room.
So who are some of your current favorites right now, whether it be still in WWE, AEW, New Japan, anywhere?
So I like this wrestler called Lita. She recently returned. She fought Becky Lynch. She's one of my favorites. But actually, she really is. She's really good. You guys, you know her work?
Yeah.
She's really good. No, I think obviously the current landscape. I think when you see, and for us too, like when I talk about this retrospective thing, right? We went away, we retired, we did our thing, and then of course things happened. Women's divisions came and went, and this and that. And I think the real, coming of the women became when we saw Charlotte and we saw Becky Lynch and we saw
Ronda.
Bailey and Sasha Banks, and they all came up, and then at that point we're sort of back in the mix a little bit with the Royal Rumble, and we hear things like, I watched you, growing up, and the best story is Charlotte, speaking of this match, that Charlotte sat in the very arena watching our main event match, and it made her go, oh my God, this is something I want to do, I think, after seeing us. And Natty, my favorite story is Natty seeing us in the main event, is her going, I've been around wrestling my whole life, but seeing you guys in the main event made me be like, oh my God, I never thought that that's something that I could do as a female.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Natty.
Yeah, and think about her being around Brett and like everyone in her whole family.
So similar to Nat, it's like Charlotte, similar to Natty. I do remember, because Charlotte grew up around us, you know, and so I do remember her coming to the arenas, but she was the volleyball star, you know, Rick was constantly bragging on her about her volleyball accolades, and that was her path, right, you know, she was, and it wasn't till, I don't want to say later in life, because it's not like she's older, but it was like later that she decided that if she could see it, then she could be it, to steal your phrase. But you know, and so to see that of people, they grew up around it, but they're like, this is just a thing I'm used to growing up around, not a thing that I'm also going to do.
But you make it, the see it, like if she can see it, she can be it thing is very important, because I think for us, and it's like goes back to that question of like, did you always know you wanted to do this? There was no representation, right? So representation is so important, and for us to like know that we did our work so that then these girls could see us and think of it as a possibility. And also I want to say, like, you know, it's not like the little girls or little boys or anyone that younger kids that come up to us and say, I love what you do, I love what you stand for, and I want to be like you, grow up, or I want to do what you do. It's not necessarily that they want to be a wrestler, it's just the value is like, you know, it's making it in a male-dominated world. It's all these things that we do, and being hardworking, and just, you know, breaking barriers and following your passion and all those things. And so, you know, for us to know that we did that work, and that's really cool to look back on.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, so, like you were saying, you saw Macho Man, and that's what made you kind of go on that path. I saw Rey Mysterio, and so the amount of people that are gonna see beyond what is in front of them is gonna be so much smaller, right? And that's why our locker room was so much smaller, because you had to really go, there isn't a prototype for me to follow, there isn't something for me to look, but I'm gonna try to make it up as I go along. And that's what I would always say, like, I'm just making it up as I go along, because there wasn't a career to follow. And now that there is, and then you see this, like, the explosion of the locker room, and you know, you can have an entire women's pay-per-view, and you can have multiple female titles,
and main event matches are like just normal, which is amazing. It's normalized. It's not like the girls' main event. It's the main event with these two superstars, period, right? Which is so great to know that we had a little piece of that, right?
To have a full roster on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and AEW. I mean, every promotion has like a full solid women's division now, and it's cool.
So you're welcome.
So was it truly a competition between you two? Like, we know you guys are the best of friends, but how competitive was it between you two?
So I feel like this is an interesting question. It's potentially gender loaded, because I don't know that it would be asked of two males, like, were you in competition? Because, and I feel like that people may feel that two females may feel in competition or at odds with each other, but we really, I mean, supported each other throughout our entire career.
Literally from the beginning. Like our parallel, our careers ran parallel from the very beginning to like us getting signed around the same time, starting around the same time, balleting, etc.
And we always, it's like, you can't wrestle yourself. So the more people that can be elevated around you, the bigger the entire spectacle is. So any victory for Trish was also one for me and for the division, and vice versa. So I never felt competition, like, I hope I get this spot that we're both vying for. It's like, we just want lots of spots and lots of opportunities, because the more that there are, the more that there will continue to be.
And then more exposure for women to see, look, this is what they can do, and then it's more chances for everybody. So, I mean, there was obviously like friendly competition, the way that like seeing what she did drove me to be better in the ring and things like that. Like she came from a wrestling background. I was learning as I went, so watching her, knowing we could hook up in the ring, I wanted to make sure that I gave her good competition in the ring, kind of thing as well. So it drove me to try to, not be crappy in the ring.
I will say though, like one time that I remember feeling like jealous or competitive was watching you when I was home with my broken neck, because I had to just sit there and let it heal, and I'm just watching you really come into your own and kick ass, and I'm just like, but it was in a way that I was like, I want to be doing that too, and I want to be in that ring with you, not like, oh, screw you, your neck's not broken. I wish your neck was broken too.
Oh, what is that? But then I think it's kind of neat that like at that point that's when that stuff was happening. We're sort of like coming in under the radar, like girls are gonna have a little match, don't mind us, we're gonna do something, we're not gonna fight, we're not gonna play hair today, we're gonna like actually fight, and we kind of did that under the radar and got to the point where then, then she swooped in, she's like boom, and here we are, we got this division, and we were competitive, and we were like kicking it,
Yeah, so I also feel, and you got some of this too, just from working with me, but then I had the luxury of being with the TLC crew, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys, and they were always so generous when putting their matches together, really involved me, not only letting me see step by step how they put matches together, but physically, and they knew that it was going to get a good reaction and that I could take it, to take a really big bump in the match or to do something that you don't see women doing, whether it was like hitting one of the guys with a chair, getting thrown through a table, like doing something. And you know, and I always felt like that, like we're like sneaking these opportunities in.
And it was nice when the guys would do that. They're like, let's show them something that like they probably don't think you can do. Let's use this chance to like highlight you. And it was nice when they could see us like that as opposed to being a hindrance. Because sometimes the girls got more attention or were on the magazine covers and things like that. So they're like, they don't want to take, some people didn't want the women to take their spotlight away. But when they saw the value of using us to enhance their match and really, and why not shine a light on us as well, was really great, beneficial for the whole team. And
that was really great with those TLC crew. They were so giving, but then also because those matches are so intense, they're like, we'll take a nice break here, and you can take a big bump actually for a second, and I'll just be like catching my breath on the ground for a minute.
Okay, so when did you two realize that you were Team Bestie?
Day one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's funny. I was gonna say, I think that you actually coined it at Hall of Fame, right? 2014. But it's funny because it's like we had been doing stuff like just me and you for so long.
And we've always like, you know, sometimes we laugh, we're like, we'll finish each other's sentences. We're like sisters sometimes, right? But so we've been this bestie. We've had a bestie-esque relationship for a long time. But yeah, we coined the term. The first time was her Hall of Fame 2014, and then after that we decided to come to you guys.
We're like, let's take this act on the road.
So the Team Bestie tour, and that's how we began to like travel. And then like, you know, at this point too, it's like getting back to meet you guys has been so great. You know, to get hear the stories, or like people are like, oh, I saw you in, you know, when you guys were in Boston or probably, you know, Rhode Island, and it's so cool to hear the stories.
Spooky World. Did anybody meet us at Spooky World? We've been
Foxtown something, right? Foxwood.
Fox and the Hounds.
In Canada, we do it, so we just do it differently in Canada. So, but yeah, and it's just nice. And so we decided, and that was a way for us to hang out together.
Yeah.
And I had, you know, my son was what, 6 months at that point or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, he's 6 months. I can leave for like once a month or something like that. We decided, and so we just, you know, started doing this. But we see the value in it. It's so nice to meet everyone now and spend the time, because if you've ever been to a WWE signing.
Yeah, they're very.
There's a lot of people.
They're very rushed, you know.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, nice to meet you. Right. So here we get to like chat with you guys.
So to be
and
here for 3 days,
yeah. And then we get to hang out, and then we all get to hang out, and then we get to hang out. It's so much fun.
Okay, so who were some of your favorite opponents other than each other?
No one, we just liked each other.
Okay.
I really loved. I worked with Jazz in ECW, and I really pushed hard for her to get into WWE. So I was really happy to have.
She's amazing.
Interaction with her. She was so solid. She's like short,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but she's like so powerful and strong. Everything she does looks really credible.
You know, and when she came in, it was like perfect timing, because it was like 6-pack challenge. So like, we're gonna start a women's division again. We're gonna put the title back in, and they brought her in for that as a surprise. And it was like, what an apropos place to bring her in, because just gave the women's division credibility. Like, knowing like we have badass women that can actually wrestle. I was the most green in the group. But you know, knowing I had these women around me to support me.
We watched some of that recently, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, this is a good little match there.
Yeah, not too bad actually. So yeah, that's she was great, and for me it was like she really, I mean, for me as that baby face, she really enhanced my she beat the crap out of me, and my character needed that at the time.
Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like she really took Rock's advice to heart, which is know your role and shut your mouth. Because Jazz was just that like silent killer heel.
Yeah.
And she knew her role. Like she was like, you're supposed to hate me and watch this, you know? And so that is the thing when someone knows their role, right? Like if I was the heel and and it's like, no, and so Jazz was really great that way. I mean, of course, like Ivory, full character out there, so funny to work with. Victoria.
Ivory was just like talk about her for a minute, like
Yeah.
a classic, you know, like that Right to Censor stuff was like next level character work, you know, and she's just so in the ring, of course, we all know that, you know, but like that character was just took everything to the next level.
That is the know your role too. Like
Yeah.
the single most annoying entrance in the WWE is the Right to Censor. I'm like, walk faster. That buzzer just going off, you know, and
Yeah.
so I love that she and everyone in Right to Censor really embraced there. Is there something you'd like to share with the rest of the crowd?
She got into wrestling later or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So he's got it, yeah.
What's the question then? We're gonna fill you in. Tell
Who's
us.
Ivory?
She's like, who
Oh,
are
I
you
was
guys?
starting
So
to
Ivy
class.
was one
I
of the
was
she was like one of the early ones. So she was
She
like
was in
from
Glow.
What
The
was, like,
Netflix show was
original-
later about, yeah.
Right, you seen that one? Okay, so she was actually a Glow. No,
No,
not actually. It's like one of those actual events maybe portrayed differently or whatever. That quick
Yeah, they
disclaimer.
skipped her. She was an amalgamation of
Yes,
people,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
But then yeah, she was just like our veteran, you know. She was solid in the ring, and she would tell you things as it was, and she was like a little spitfire leader
Yeah.
in the ring, right? In the locker room as well. But that character work she did at one point, she became like a Right to Censor, like a extreme PTA version, maybe you could say call that.
Yeah, and we can't not talk about women opponents without mentioning China.
Mm-hmm. Just like a separate entity all over in herself,
Yeah,
right?
I know that you only had like a very short, we can call it a match
Yeah.
in quotes, because it was just like she needed to beat your ass,
Annihilate
annihilate you for it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was, not only did I get to have matches with her, or match and interactions with her when she was Mamacita with Eddie Guerrero, and I was with S.A. Rios, but then also we got to have a big singles pay-per-view match, and the most competitive match that she was ever had with another woman, and just to be able to feel her power out there. And we were close, like friends, so it was nice again to just be friends in the ring, and it was like kind of a mentor-mentee kind of storyline, so we were able to almost take some of our real life relationship into the ring, and that was definitely memorable.
Yeah, got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I would like to take this opportunity to see if any of the audience members have any questions.
If they were very quick, because this guy is just like telling us we gotta go. By the
Oh,
way.
this guy, I
Yeah.
don't have my glasses on. So
Yeah.
what does your sign say?
It said 10 minutes.
I
like
thought it
9
said
minutes
Trish is
ago.
cool or something. I was like, thank you. Is 10 minutes? 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
Oh.
Five.
We're up to 5.
So in wrestling, right, when the bad guy comes, what do we all say? See, again. Okay. So any questions?
Just throw
What's your
them
name and where you from?
Go.
My name's Lisette. I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up watching wrestling, and my grandfather was a massive fan. And for a while, actually, it became really hard to be a female fan, and also be a Latina and be a fan because I didn't see myself there. And then at one point, the women were just meant to look pretty, so
Yeah.
it was hard. And then the two of you start wrestling, and China comes in, and it was so important, especially like the first time I see Lita come on, and she speaks Spanish,
Yeah.
and she's not a character.
I was mad at Papi Chulo that.
Yeah. Really mad. It meant so much. And I was just curious, did you and S.A. Rios come in together as a group, or were you paired together when you were hired in WWE?
So I'll try to stay quick. I know we don't have much time, but here's the thing. So I went down to Mexico City to train, and Papi Chulo, later S.A. Rios, was Mr. Aguila in Mexico City. And he was my favorite down there when I would just go to the matches all of the time, soaking in all of the lucha, all of the wrestling that I could. When they told me they were putting me with S.A. Rios and we were starting cold on Heat, I would have, if they would have been like, hey, we're gonna put you in a 6-week program with Stone Cold Steve Austin, or you could start tonight on Heat with S.A. Rios, I would have picked that. Like it was like the best. I couldn't believe that I got paired with SA, and I was such a fan of his, and I could not have asked for a better start in the WWE. So I'm glad that you were there to see it.
Anybody else?
Whoever just yells, oh, okay, good.
Okay. What's your name? Where are you from?
Joseph from Albany, New York. My question for you two is, what was the most painful move you've ever taken in like a ring? Most painful bump?
So, I mean, I think there's injuries, but I will say that I feel like we have a thing in the wrestling business called a shoot cell.
Yeah.
And a shoot cell is when something really hurts, but
reals.
you'll never notice because like you just go oh, like, and so I think it's like been caught with some of those, like because you're not expecting, to feel that. I mean, injuries are one thing that hurt.
Those hurt a lot, but yeah.
But I think those shoot cell moments, like I remember just recently when Becky and I were starting our feud in February, and the very first shot, she just was super excited and just clocked me. And you watch that, like I don't register it great because I was just like, okay, here we go. Right.
Welcome back. Yeah.
We have time for
Any other?
one more question.
No more questions. Okay. So you guys are all set. You know everything you need to know about Trish and Lita. You're all set. So yes.
What
Snack do we want?
What's
blueberries? I don't know.
Blueberries. Yeah, bring them.
I got you.
What's next?
You know what I would love?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is coming up, right? The holidays.
Yay!
And you just cozy up.
Yeah.
You get in, you watch the movies, the hot chocolate and everything. And it would
Sweater.
be so good
Yeah.
if we could combine our love collectively for both the holidays and family time with wrestling. Do you have anything that could possibly check those boxes?
Well, there's not any wrestling in this particular thing I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
However, I am a wrestler.
But you are.
I'm
So
a wrestler,
there's
so,
inherently wrestling in it.
Right, and I
Okay.
do wrestle with, I don't know, boyfriend problems. So I have a Christmas movie coming out.
What? Yay!
So go to my website, trishstratus.com, and see the trailer. The trailer's out, and we actually have a limited amount of DVDs that are available at my website that you can buy as well. But it will be streaming closer to Christmas time. I don't know where, like Hallmark or
Google.
I know my
We'll
community-
use Google.
Yeah, Google or whatever. Google will tell you.
Find it.
And it was like a bucket list. Like to do that was a dream come true. It was so much fun. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys watch it and enjoy it and have a Merry Trishmas.
I just got my copy this weekend, so don't be jealous. But we will be here. We will not be back at our tables today, but we will be here tomorrow.
So those questions that you didn't ask today, everybody, except for you three.
If public speaking's not your thing, we are happy to chat, meet you guys face to face.
Yeah, I love it. We love it. Those are great chances for us to say hello and, kind of talk about memories and things that we can't normally do either here or in those WWE signings.
So we will pose for a picture with our gear, I
Yeah.
think, and
If you
then
guys want.
and if you guys would like to take a stroll after on your way out, you can also see our gear.
You can touch it.
Touch it. Yeah.
Do the zipper up and down. This is it if you want.
And we will see you guys tomorrow. Next
Tomorrow,
time.
maybe? Next time. Thanks, guys.
Trish Stratus and Lita.